Bloomberg reported today that Blackstone is this year's most active private equity firm, with transactions valued at over $20 billion. For more, let's head back to the Bloomberg Dealmakers Summit and hear from one of the world's biggest players in M&A. Here in New York, my colleague Cristina Alesci is standing by with a special guest. Cristina?
Thank you, Mark. With us, we have Tim Coleman, head of restructuring at Blackstone. Not the kinds of deals we were talking about earlier today, but the kinds of deals that happen when companies get into trouble.
Right.
Now, we have gone from an environment where the debt markets were on fire 6 months ago. Not the case today. How is that impacting your business?
Well, what we're seeing is, first of all, the deals that we were doing 6 months ago would have had a bigger market element to them. And today, the market really shut down in August. A little bit of business out now, but very, very little. So most of what we're doing is more of an amend and extend or a restructure versus actually having a market takeout.
Okay, and that would be an example of that would be Lee Enterprises, which I know that you're working on. I mean, are we going to see more companies unable to refinance, and as a product of that, have to restructure so that the creditors take on equity?
I think you could. I don't think anybody fully knows where the high yield market is going today. There has been about $1 billion of inflows over the last couple of weeks. There were all outflows in August. So if the market continues to flow like that, money managers will need to put that money to work. If the money goes to work, then you're going to see more market deals. That will take time to come back. You'll start to see it with the double Bs. You see a little bit of double B business right now in terms of issuances. But where you need to get to for my market is below double B, obviously. Right. So you need to have a little bit of more of a robust market. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, how much of what's going on in Europe, how much of that is impacting what you do on a daily basis and the calls that you're getting from clients? Are they nervous? Or are there any ripple effects on U.S. companies?
I don't think they're affecting U.S. companies from sales or something like that. It is affecting our market, clearly. Every time Greece or Italy or Spain or somebody sees a problem or announces a problem or somebody hints at a problem, we see that immediately in where people are in terms of their willingness to invest in the high yield market, the leveraged loan market. So when those people get nervous, they pull their money out. When they pull their money out, those are the outflows, inflows I'm talking about. Then you see the impact on our market.
But direct impact in terms of like companies that need to be refinanced that have exposure.
Right. If you thought you were somebody that was about to go to market and you were sitting there, let's say in June or July, getting ready to go to market, say August, August was a complete collapse. So that ended. Right. So the question is, do you have a need to do what you were talking about doing? If you're a company that, let's say, is a private equity deal that needs to close, you need to go to market.
Right.
If it's a restructuring deal that you were hoping to use part of it to be a public takeout, that's probably not going to happen. So like Lee, we went and did an amend and extend with the existing lenders. So that's how I think it's impacting us.
And Blackstone is unique in the sense that, for example, one of the Blackstone private equity portfolio companies has hired your group to advise it on a potential restructuring Travelport. Can you tell us how that benefits the actual company?
I don't think it's any different than any other client. We work for a lot of private equity firms. The firm is pretty careful about Chinese walls. We treat Blackstone, if you will, we treat Blackstone private equity just like we would treat any other private equity client. Right. They are the equity, they are the owner. We have to deal with the equity of the owner. We have to figure out, are they in the money, are they not in the money?
Right.
It's really no different. Do I have some bias because it's my firm? Of course, I'm sure there is some bias there, but I'd say very little. What we have to do for a living really doesn't have a lot of room for sort of biased judgment. You have to be pretty straightforward with people in order to get deals done. So I don't think it really impacts anything. If anything, it allows us to speak in a very straight way with the owners, perhaps in a straighter way than you might be able to do with somebody else. So it probably actually could help.
You're going to speak straight to Steve Schwartzman?
Steve would expect nothing less.
So the other question is, the last time you were on, you spoke a little bit about the municipal market and the potential for states having to look at their fiscal situations and potentially restructure their, financial situation. So, is that the same thing? Do you treat that as the same as a corporate, or is the approach completely different?
I think the approach is different, and I think that's a very much a developing market. How those deals are going to get done Are they going to get done? Are you going to require a full restructure? Is it going to be a political change instead? You look at what Wisconsin did, for instance. They sort of dealt with some of their issues in a very abrupt way. You saw a lot of marching in the street, but that's what that governor was willing to do.
Right.
Other governors won't be willing to do that or can't do that. From a state perspective, states can't file for bankruptcy. There's an issue between federal and state laws, as you know. But municipalities can file for bankruptcy, Chapter 9. So you could see more activity on the non-state level as people address the issues that they're facing, the huge debts they have versus the revenues that they're actually taking in.
So maybe more bankruptcies of cities and towns rather than actual states.
You could see that, yes.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Tim. Hope you come back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Mark, back to you.
Cristina, Alesci, Tim Coleman, thank you both so much.